In this video, you're going to learn how to create color range masks in Lightroom. Before I do the demonstration, what I'll do is start with just kind of an overview of color range masks. Remember, there are a lot of different masks you can create using Lightroom. I've done other videos in the past that cover some of the other different types of masks that you can create, but this video is going to focus specifically on the color range mask. So the color range mask is used to selectively edit specific colors in a photo. Allows you to fine tune or enhance specific colors. To identify the color range, you can do one of two things with your photo. You can either click a point location on your photo using your mouse or your trackpad, or you can drag a box. So if you just click a point on the photo, what it will do is identify whatever color is at the location that you've clicked and use that as your initial range for the color. And then you can modify that if you need to do that. You can refine the color range based on that point that you've selected. As I said, the alternative here is to drag a box somewhere on your photo. And what that'll do is it will find the full color range of all the colors within the box that you've drawn, and then use that as your color range. And then you can refine that as needed. So regardless of whether you're clicking the photo or you can dragging a box, in either case, it's going to identify a color range, and then you can refine that as needed based on your particular circumstance and what you're trying to do with the photo. All right, so that's just kind of a brief introduction to a color range mask. What I'm going to do next is take you into an actual demonstration that shows you how to create a color range and then refine that color range as needed. All right, so stay tuned. Let's move into the demonstration part of this video. Again, what we're doing here is creating a color range mask. So to get this started, we'll go click on the mask button, and then that'll display the Create New Mask pane. From there, you go to Range and then Color Range. Now from here, you can do one of two things. You can either select a location on the photo, just simply by clicking anywhere on the photo to identify the color that's associated with that location. In that case, you're going to select simply one color basically. The alternative here is to drag a rectangle on the photo. And when you draw a rectangle on the photo, regardless of how small or how large that rectangle is, what it's going to do is capture the range of colors within that rectangle. And then that will be used to define your mask. So we'll start with just identifying a specific location on the photo. And that's, of course, quite simple to do. And all you're doing here then is simply clicking on a location. We'll just click on one of these flowers, one of the yellow flowers here. And that will create your mask based on whatever the color is at that specific location. And it's a little hard to see the mask here, so as is the case sometimes with these masks, they kind of blend in with the other scenery there. So sometimes it's easier to change the mask overlay type to something else. And in this case, image on black works pretty well. And so that really illustrates what exactly is included with this particular mask. You could also do the same thing with image on white. I think in this case, image on black probably works a little bit better. So that's one way of doing this. And then, as I said, the other way is to draw or drag a rectangle on top of the photo to identify a broader range of colors. And so that's simply going to involve dragging your cursor or your trackpad like so. And again, all the colors within that box become part of the color range. So if you release, what it will now do, in this case, it identified pretty much the entire sky, along with some of the other areas here. Some of the facing on this bare rock here was identified as well. And just to kind of give you a better sense here, I'll switch over to image on black and image on white. Kind of gives you better. Image on white, I think, does a better job here. You can do other things here. White on black works quite well. Actually, this works quite well. So white on black works pretty good in this location. So in this case, everything that you see identified in white is part of the mask. And so again, it's picked up most of the sky. It's picked up the rock facing. It's even picked up part of the some of the grass and part of the some of the twigs maybe in the meadow as being part of that color range as well. Now from here, you can refine the color range as well. So on the color range panel, you can move this little refine slider left and right to better refine your color mask. So as you can see, as I'm moving it to the left, you'll notice how it's removing the mask from the rock face in this case, and kind of narrowing it down. The further you go left, the more it narrows it down. And the further right you go, the more it includes in the mask. So the further right I move, you can see how it's kind of picking up more of the mask, adding more of the mask to what's in the meadow here. Yeah, they're in white on black. You can see it's picked up quite a few things there. But the refine slider allows you to kind of refine what ultimately gets included in that color range mask. All right, and that's pretty much all there is to it. This is one of the simpler masks to understand and to create. And again, the idea here is you're either selecting a specific location on the photo, or you're dragging a box, a rectangle on the photo to either identify one color or a range of colors that are within that rectangle, and then that becomes part of your mask. So other than that, this type of mask is pretty easy to create. So that is it for this video, and we'll see you again in another video soon.